We're not making orange juice. Okay, excellent. Keep on that for now. Alright, that's pretty good, pretty good. Can you take one of those vases? Together with that. Right. What we're going to do, we're going to take that tangerine and we're going to drop it into the water.
Wait, this one?
Yeah, drop it. Stand back. Oh.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous. Yes. What's happened? It's floating. Alright. Let's get the other vase. Now peel one into the water. What do you think is going to happen?
Explode. Very dangerous.
Stand back.
It's trying.
What's happened?
It's expanded, it's not.
Let's put some more water in this one.
There is no water.
There is already water. Yeah, there you go. Just to demonstrate a bit more clearly. There we are. What's happened?
It's expanded and it's not floated.
It's not floating. It's sunk. Yes, it's sunk. All right. Thank you for the experiment. You've been really helpful.
It's very dangerous.
Very dangerous. Yes.
Extremely dangerous.
So you might ask, what's the point of the experiment? We'll come back to it later. Today we are talking about the armour of God, putting on the whole armour of God. And I'm going to read the passage from Ephesians chapter 6. I'll put my glasses on. Which says this: a final word, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on all of God's armour, so that you'll be able to stand firm against all the strategies of the devil. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Therefore, put on every piece of God's armour, so that you'll be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. Then after the battle, you will still be standing firm. Stand your ground, putting on the belt of truth and the body arm of God's righteousness. For shoes, put on the peace that comes from the good news, so that you'll be fully prepared. In addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith and stop the fiery arrows of the devil. Put on salvation as your helmet, and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Pray in the Spirit at all times and on every occasion. Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for all believers everywhere. So today we're looking at the armour of God. And I need another volunteer who is about this old. You'll do. Will you stand on the stage for me? Sort of behind the table so that everyone can see you. Okay, now we've looked at the rest bits of the armour of God, and we have here a fine specimen of a Roman soldier. Give us your finest man pose. So I have here a box of bits, and I'm going to need some other volunteers. I need first of all a volunteer to come and find in this box a belt. Is he a belt? Yeah, give it to your friend up here. If you get on with him, alright? And just put the belt on, somehow. It won't fit you terribly well, because you're a skinny little thing. I'm not. Excellent, good. So, it's the belt of, anybody? Truth. And where does the belt of truth go? It's the belt of truth, where does it go? That's it, it goes round our middle, yes, round our core. And what does the belt do, if it fits properly? It's not going to fit, no. If a belt doesn't strap properly and it fits, it holds everything else together. It's the foundation of everything else that you wear. Okay, don't look, I need another volunteer now. I need another volunteer to come and find some body armour, a breastplate. Do you want to see if you can find it? think it was. That's it. Okay, take up the stage. Take up the stage. That's it. Take it out of there. That's it, well done. Okay, try and put that on. It might be a little bit small, it might just, yeah, well done. So, that's our body armour, or our breastplate. And where does it go? Yeah, it goes on the front of us, it goes over our heart and all our vital bits and pieces. So what's it do? Yeah, protects our heart and keeps us safe from attacks. Okay, now the next one isn't in the box, because you've already got it on. The shoes, yes, well done. The shoes of the gospel of peace. So obviously the shoes go on our feet, and then what do? They give us a solid footing to move forward, and it means you can move more effectively. That's what shoes do. Okay, next one is the shield of faith. You see the shield? Take up the stage, there's our shield. The shield of faith. So where does the shield go? It can go in front of us, it can go to the side of us, it can even go behind us. Yeah, it can protect us from all angles. A shield is very effective in protecting us from attacks from the enemy. It's a very defensive thing. Okay, the next one is the helmet of salvation. Any helmets in there? Alright. Okay, take up the stage. That's the helmet of salvation. Where does the helmet go? Right, yeah, there it is. Yes. So what does it do? So it goes from our head around our brain, and it protects our mind and thoughts, the things that aren't truthful. Well done. Good. Excellent. So there's one thing left. Hang on a minute. Yeah. That's it. The sword. That's it. The sword of the Spirit. Where does the sword go? Do you want to take that out of its sheath? That's it. Put it hard. Be a man. Put it hard. That's it. Now, I wasn't going to bring a proper real-life sword, but then I thought the risk assessments are just going to be a nightmare. So I left that. We've got a plastic sword. So a sword goes sort of out front if you're attacking. And then it's what we fight with, what we attack with, and how you move forward and take ground and defeat the enemy. So there we are. There's a fine specimen of a perfect Roman soldier in full dress battle. How about that? Take a seat there and just look handsome. Excellent. Good. So, there we are. There's our Roman soldier. And a Roman soldier wouldn't go into battle without his full armour on, including his sword. George, where's your sword? Excellent. Yes, there's George's sword. And other people have got swords as well. Lots of people have got swords today. And a believing Christian wouldn't go through life without equipping themselves, including having a knowledge of the Bible, understanding the Bible, and walking with the Bible day by day. And we shouldn't go through life without our Bible. We can use it to attack lies and other attacks. And in life we can go through spiritual battles. We should go through life in prayer with our full armour on. So this next image, there we are. There's our Roman soldier. Looks just like our friend up here, doesn't it? Exactly the same. No? And then these are what the different bits represent. So we've got the belt of, the body armour or breastplate of, the shoes of, the gospel of peace, the shield of, the helmet of, you can just about read that one, yeah. And the sword of the Spirit. Yes, exactly. Yes. And that's how Roman soldiers would go into battle. They'd be very, very defensive. They'd put their armour on, and they'd be very... You're supposed to be ready for battle. So there they are, they're equipped, they're ready for battle, and they've got their full armour on. But the thing is, wearing armour like this isn't something we necessarily totally relate to, because we're not Roman soldiers. So in the second bit of the talk, I'm going to delve into that a little bit and work out how we can relate to it in a more sort of everyday life sort of way. So I think Jake will have another song or two, and the very sporty people will go out, and then we'll come back to the second part. Okay, so we've looked at the Armour of God, and what we should be doing every day. But the reality is, we don't always put those things on. And quite often, we put on different things which aren't very good for us instead. So I have another box of bits here, and I need another volunteer about this old. Anybody else? Go on. Come on then. Well, alright, you can go up there. And we are going to clothe him in the things that we often put on instead of the Armour of God. So, first of all, in my box of bits here, we are going to look at underpants. So, we often put on the underpants of unforgiveness. So in my box here, does anybody want to come have a rummage my underpants? I wouldn't really inflict that on you, so instead we'd have the umbrella of unforgiveness. So can somebody come and find an umbrella in my box here? Pretty easy. That's it. The umbrella of unforgiveness. Unforgiveness can be a big thing in people's lives. It can be a huge barrier. It can be a real problem, and it's not terribly helpful. Unforgiveness is not a good thing. So, next thing on my little list here, the rugby shirt of resentment. There's a rubbish. There's the rugby shirt of resentment. So, if you put on the rugby shirt, I think it might be broken, actually, that umbrella. Rugby shirt of resentment. Resentment, again, can be a massive problem in our lives. Sort of unforgiveness comes into it as well. Resenting somebody, holding a grudge against somebody, and it can be something that we have in our lives which isn't good and is not helpful. Okay, another volunteer to pick something out of the box. Come on. The next thing, an apron. That's it. The apron of anger. Apron of anger. That's it. I'm afraid to put all these things on. You're going to be quite laden down by the end of it. So the apron of anger. Again, anger can sometimes be a good thing if it's a sort of righteous anger, if it's anger against injustice and people being mistreated in a certain way. But have you never worn an apron before? But quite often anger is not a good thing. Anger can cause a lot of disruption in our lives, and it can be a problem. And especially, sometimes you might get angry when your mum asks you to tidy your room up, or you get angry because the kids have left their shoes by the front door and they should be put in the cupboard. Little things can make us very angry, and that's not good and it's not healthy. There it is. Yeah, well done. So, anybody else to find something else? Something. Next thing, scarf. So, scarf of, any ideas? Scarf of stress. Yeah. Have you not heard of the scarf of stress? The scarf of stress. Stress can be a massive issue in people's lives, and it can just totally consume all our thoughts, and it can just take over our thoughts and our minds. It can totally control us, And in fact, stress can get totally out of control if we're not careful. I need a grown-up for this one. Come on then. Next one. Wellies. Wellies are in the bag at the back there. Yeah. The wellies of worry. Well done, you said that. Oh, very good, yeah. So stress and worry can sort of go together. If you get stressed, you worry about it. If you worry about things, you get stressed about them. So they're sort of quite closely knitted together. There we go, nice pair of wellies. And again, stress and worry can consume us if we're not careful. They can totally dominate our thoughts, that they can just take over our lives, and then it's not healthy and it's not good. But it's something that we can quite often have in our lives. We need to try and control it. There's a few more things to go. Next one, balaclava. Anybody want to find a balaclava in my box? I did wash it. It is clean. So you need to put on balaclava on your head.
What's a balaclava?
Well, there's a picture on there that shows you what it is.
Yeah. He got it.
The balaclava of bitterness. Yeah, balaclava of bitterness. There's a picture right there. The balaclava of bitterness. Again, bitterness can go bitterness can go with resentment, it can go with unforgiveness, you can hold a grudge against somebody, and you can just feel very bitter about it. And again, it's not a healthy thing. Okay, next one. Any other volunteers without knowing what it is? Somebody who hasn't been up here yet. Yeah, come on then. Yeah. Ava, the next one is gloves. There's a pair of gloves just in the box there. That's it. Gloves of, not guilt, gloves of greed. Yeah. Is he looking ridiculous? Gloves of greed. We can be envious of other people, we can want more in life, we can want a better house and a bigger car, want, me, and that is not a good, healthy attitude, it's not a godly attitude. Okay, another adult, I think, another big grown-up person, choose the next one. Come on, somebody, come on then. The next one, Panama hat. The Panama hat of pride. It's very dashing, isn't it? The Panama hat of pride. Proudness, sort of self-absorption, and thinking you're more important than anybody else. It can be an issue. This one, I need someone to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. Alright, you can be very, very careful. Next one, the dinner jacket. My best dinner jacket. Yes. There we are. It's the dinner jacket of. It's the dinner jacket of doubt. The dinner jacket of doubt. Doubt can be a problem in our lives. We can start to think, did the Bible really say that? Did Jesus really say that? Is that really the direction that God wants in my life? Is it really true? Doubt can be an issue. Very good. Right, somebody else for the next one. You again? I want somebody else up here. It's a family service. Come on. The next one. raincoat. There's a raincoat in there. I think for this one, we might need another volunteer up on the stage. Come on then. You can put the raincoat on. It's all getting a bit too much for this poor chap up here. He's been overwhelmed with all these negative things in his life. And sometimes you sort of spread things around a bit when they get too much. You just kind of can't cope with it yourself, so you spread it to somebody else. And this one is the raincoat of rage. So anger. Yes. And when one person gets angry, they can spread it around to somebody else, and somebody else gets angry. And then the next person gets angry. And it's easy just to spread around a little bit. Another volunteer. Somebody new. Come on. The next one, the jumper. No, you don't have to put it on this. One of you two needs to put it on the jumper of jealousy. The jumper of jealousy. Again, this is jealousy is very good friends with greed. Greed and jealousy sort of go together. You can sort of look at your neighbour's car and think, oh, wouldn't that be lovely? Or look at their house, or look at their husband or wife and think, oh yes, I'd have some of that. But it's not good. Jealousy is not a good thing. Jealousy is a negative thing. Now, I need someone for the next one who is very, very careful, because this is my mum's. So need to treat it with a great deal of care. Come on, one of you two. It's not real. This is the fur coat. There's a fur coat in there. Yeah. Fur coat. But it's not mine. Can I put the fur coat on? Alright. The fur coat of fear. Again, fear is something that can easily be spread around. If one of you screams on the stage, one of you screams, exactly, the next person screams. Yes. It just passes around. Fear can be something that just spreads very easily, and fear is not terribly healthy. There's only two things left in the box now. So it needs somebody else who hasn't done it yet. Come on. In there you will find a pair of sunglasses.
What?
Somebody needs to put on the sunglasses. There we are, the glasses of guilt. Guilt is something that can consume us. We can sometimes forget that we are forgiven, we are free. And sometimes the guilt can just bear down on us and become unbearable. But guilt is a negative thing, because we don't have to feel guilty because we're forgiven. Now the next one up here, I thought we had some of these, but we don't. We used to have some, but they've gone. Earmuffs. Earmuffs. Earmuffs of envy. And again, envy goes along with greed and jealousy, and it's all those sort of negative emotions that can take over our lives, and they're not healthy. So there's one thing left in the box. Anybody want to come together? Last thing, baseball cap. The baseball cap of bitterness. Who's going to choose? Oh, you're going to wear that. The balaclava was bitterness, yes. And the baseball cap is bitterness as well. Well done, you've been paying attention. So there's lots of bitterness around. Yeah. And bitterness is not a positive thing. Now, what do you think about these lovely models up here displaying all our negative things in life? Do they look absolutely ridiculous? Yeah. But that's how people go around in life. You know, they carry around lots of unforgiveness and resentment and anger and stress and worry and bitterness and greed and pride and doubt and rage and jealousy and fear and guilt and envy and bitterness. It may not quite be as obvious as this, but people do. They carry it around with themselves all the time. Instead of wearing the Armour of God, which is on the table there, they put in all this other stuff. and it's not good, and it's not healthy. So instead of God's love and God's peace and God's joy, we can get overwhelmed and engulfed in emotions of worry and fear and stress. And it can spill over to our people. As you see, it can sort of be too much for us to bear, and we just spill it out, and it goes out round to other people. And if one person gets stressed or worried, another person gets stressed or worried. If one person screams and panics, another person screams and panics. So, worry. Who's got worry? The weapons of worry. Yes, there we are. Weapons of worry. Fear. What was fear? Photos of fear. Yeah, and stress. Who's got stress? Scarf of stress. So worry, fear, and stress can be if we're not careful, can be our very close companions. They can be very cosy and comfortable and nice, but they weigh us down. They prevent us from putting on God's armour because we've got all this other stuff in our lives. They can be a distraction. They can make us a lot less agile and able to move around, but they can become a big part of our lives. They can take over. We can be consumed with greed. Who's got greed? What was greed? Who's got the gloves of greed? There we are. We can be consumed with pride. What was pride? That's pride. Well done. Bitterness, both the balaclava and the baseball cap. And envy. What was envy? Earmuffs. Yes, we haven't got those. And jealousy. What was jealousy? The jumper of jealousy. Yes, we can be consumed with all those things. And we can be distracted by rage. Anybody got rage? The raincoat of rage. Raincoat of rage. We can be consumed. We can be distracted by resentment. What was resentment? The rugby shirt. Yeah, well done. And unforgiveness. The umbrella, or if you prefer, the underpants, which we don't have. And all these negative things, they don't really equip us for life. They hold us back. They prevent us from being the person we can really be. So, what's the next thing? What do we have to do? I've got a bin bag here. We're going to get rid of all these negative things, and we're going to put them all in the bin. So take them all off, and put them all in there. Yeah, put them all in the bin. Yeah. So there we are, that's the Bible passage. It says, get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, harsh words and slander, as well as all types of evil behaviour. Instead, be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God, through Christ, has forgiven you. So all those negative things we looked at, they all deserve to be in the bin. Get rid of them. They've got no part in our lives. Whilst they're doing that, I'll come back to the experiment here. This tangerine, satsuma, orange, clementine, whatever it is, if there was enough water in there, you'd find that one was floating. That one is an Armour of God. This one, we took his armour off, and what happened to him? He sunk. He didn't survive. The other one is swimming. Thank you very much for all your help. So there we are. We've got rid of all that negative stuff. It's all in the bin where it belongs. All that bitterness, rage, anger, unforgiveness, fear, guilt, envy, bitterness. It's all gone. That's what we need to be doing. So it says, put on the full armour of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. So it's no good just taking off all this stuff and getting rid of it. We need to put on God's armour instead. We need to replace all those negative things with the armour of God to protect us and equip us through life and the challenges that life will throw at us. There's a passage in Isaiah 61 verse 3 which says, I will give them a crown to replace their ashes, and the oil of gladness to replace their sorrow, and clothes of praise to replace their spirit of sadness. So, if we ask God, He will give us beauty for ashes. He will give us gladness for sorrow. He will give us praise for sadness. He gives strength for fear. He gives peace for despair. God is our rock. We can trust in God. God isn't going anywhere. We need to trust in him and not in our own emotions. So this weekend we've had some storms. Walked out my front door this morning, and what did I see? I saw our recycling bin. Was it standing up? No, it wasn't. Had it been full up? Yes, it had been. So it was on the floor, on its side, the contents scattered everywhere. So that was 15 minutes of my life wasted tidying one up again. And these, I know that's a trivial little thing, but these storms in life can come along. They can knock us off course, they can distract us, they can be a real pain, and they can be difficult to deal with. I'm not just talking about knocked over wheat bins, I'm talking about bigger things than that, storms in life. It's a question of being secure and safe and building on the rock of our salvation in God. So, how should we approach life? Well, it's kind of just as I said, but we can't do it in our own power. We need the power of God within us to live a more godly life. We need the Holy Spirit working with us to make us more Christ-like. We need to ask God to get rid of all the things that aren't of God, get them all in the bin, and replace them with the whole armour of God. We need to correctly equip ourselves and daily put on the armour of God. Let's just remind ourselves what the full armour of God was. So we've got the belt of truth. We've got the breastplate or body armour of. We've got the shoes of. We've got the shield of. We've got the helmet of. And we've got the sword of the Spirit. Exactly, yes. So we need to daily put on that armour of God. We need to daily seek more of God in our lives and less of the wrong, negative emotions. Less of bitterness and rage and anger and harsh words. More of God's love, more of God's joy, more of God's peace, more of God's patience, more of God's goodness, more of God's kindness, more of God's self-control, and more of God's forgiveness.